And I remember Starwood said, we're going to have to put you on half scholarship. Well, I didn't want what I was going to do with the other half. And I saw an ad in the paper and needed a custodian at the boys club. So I went down to Charlie Pennington, and of course, he hired me on the spot. He was desperate. And so I went back to Starwood and I said, look, I got it worked out now. You'll pay half mine and I'll work out the other half. And he said, well, we got a bed check, and this was going to be 9 to 11 here. Anyway, it worked out that I gave up the football, probably the smartest thing I ever did. I got out of it with just one concussion. It still affects me to this day, though. But I started there in '53, and I was there about 3 months, and there was an opening for games room director. Well, of course, I jumped on that. I said, I can do both things, and I did that. And then, to my surprise, I don't know, a few months later, they had a change and wanted me to be the acting director interim director until they could hire someone. And then Ted Arrowwood came along, and Ted, and that's Joe's brother, we worked together for a year or so, and then I think Ted was with the Salvation Army, probably got stationed somewhere else. And anyway, I wound up being the director of the club, and I left here in December of '57. I was glad to hear Mr. Mabry talk about going to Sunbright, Tennessee. And I always like to talk about Sunbright. How many people know where Sunbright is? You've been there? Okay, that's right. And we got some stories to tell about that too. We'll save that for tomorrow. Joe will probably touch on that. He was there too. But Sunbright, Tennessee is located somewhere close to Knoxville. My graduating class had 36 in it. And the football team, I think we had 24 players. But the thing that really stands out about Sunbright, to tell you the size of it, is there's one sign, and it says, welcome to Sunbright on each side. So it's something that you could miss it if you aren't careful. But at any rate, I went on to Oak Ridge, and I think the first year I was there, I got a hold of I think Sam Rutledge, who was in charge of the camp through the Optimist Club, and got hold of him, and I said, I'd like to send some kids from Oak Ridge up there, and the kids that I identified were kids that wouldn't have normally had that opportunity. And they still talk about it to this day. I've got an alumni group, and we meet on a regular basis. And one of them was telling me to be sure and say hello to Mickey McCurry. That was Larry West. And then Joe mentions to me he stayed in the same home with his older brother. But that's when, of course, y'all came to as a return trip to Oak Ridge. But I'm just trying to keep this as short as I can, but well,
you won't do it,
I'll let you do it. I'd paid Ray to say good things about me a minute ago. But I will say this, I'm proud to be a member of your Hall of Fame here in this boys club. Pappy Crow invited me up. I came up to his annual meeting, my wife and I, and it was a very nice presentation, and used to be something that hung out there, but that's long gone now, and probably good. But okay, one last story, and I'll stop with this. I'm trying not to get on in your time, Joe, with what you're going to talk about. But we did make some trips. The one I'm going to tell you about was, I was 19 years old. Thought I was grown, you know. And Herman Gwynn gave us an opportunity to go to Atlanta, Georgia. Herman had been a previous director here. And so we took the basketball teams. I think it was 4 teams. Salvation Army let us have, it was a real old bus. But it was a bus, and then we didn't know the difference. So we took off for Atlanta. I think it was on I believe we left here Friday right after school. And along about 10 o'clock at night, here I was at 19, and I had at least 30 kids or maybe more in that bus. They're hungry, and of course they're raising Cain, and we're on the side of the road. But I got to a phone and called Herman, and Herman said, "Stay where you are." I said, "Herman, we have to, we can't leave." He said, "I'll get a wrecker." And he sent a wrecker, and that wrecker towed us in. I think we were out on this side of Marietta, towed us that 35 miles or so. And then when we got there, I think Herman had us something to eat and all that. And then he got some mechanic to work on it over Saturday and Sunday, and we finally got away and made it back. But there was a lot of experiences. But one thing to this day, my heart belongs here in Johnson City because it's where I started, and it gave me a chance to start an extended family that still exists. And since that time, of course, I've added to that list after 51 years in Oak Ridge, and I still volunteer there. But I'm going to leave you with one thought, and it's something I believe in greatly, is trying to become a hero for boys and girls. And that is needed so desperately in this day and time. And it's something that everybody's got some type of skill or something that they could bring to this club or other clubs wherever you live. But kids growing up now, there's not a lot of good positive choices they can make in role models. Maybe we say the minister of a church, or we say the high school principal, or a school teacher, athletic coach. Just read the paper each day and somebody is setting the wrong example. So I'd just like to ask you to be a hero for kids. I love each one of you. And tomorrow I'll talk about some other things. Thank you, Robin.
I think I stopped it. I don't know. Oh, nope, I'm still going.